You are listening to an All Games Radio Network broadcast of allgames.com.
Hi, this is Normie from Knuckleballer Radio and Zombie Cast, and you're listening to one of my favorite shows on the Geeky Antics Network. Don't forget to check out the rest of the gang over at geekyantics.net. Warning, there might be rants and food ahead and possibly inappropriate behavior. Don't tell anybody though.
Welcome, geeks, gamers, furries, and ninja robots. This is HorsePLAY Live. Today is Thursday, October 5th. This is episode 199 of HorsePLAY, and we're very lazily titling this one 1 week until episode 200. Yes, it's going to be very on the nose right there because we haven't made enough of a hoopla about it, and I guess it's a big deal. 200 episodes, talking about over 3 years worth of content. You know, you do a show weekly, 52 weeks in the year. What's that, 156 episodes, right? And we're past that. 200 episodes, that's kind of a big deal. So we're celebrating not just HorsePLAY Live, you know, not just Geeky Antics Network, but the community made it happen. And I hope that we'll get a good showing. I really need to make up for lost time and get some tweets out and put some funny memes on blast. That's the only way people pay attention. That and cat videos. I guess people still like babies too, so I guess I don't know how we can work that in there. But we have to do some viral marketing, Instagram too. But it's so much work. Anyway, I'm Yogizilla, your bald bear lizard host, and it's just me tonight. So we're gonna go through the show pretty quick. I got a long weekend ahead, playing catch up, getting some work done for work and Geeky Antics work, and then I got the freaking Destiny sickness again, so I have to get my fix on that game. And it's great because it's a great opportunity to reconnect with the community. It's really the reason I'm doing it. I was really against the game. I still kind of begrudgingly play it, but it's the game everyone else is playing, so it's a great chance to get the band together and get everyone involved. Heck, maybe even do some streaming. We'll see. Lately I haven't been streaming much because by the time I finally get the chance to game, I just want to just jump in there and relax. And when you're streaming, you have to worry about the chat, you have to make sure you're engaging, you play the game different, because there's certain things that are not fun to watch, like inventory management, and that's a big part of games like Elder Scrolls Online and Destiny and World of Warcraft. There's so much loot, and it's like, well, now I gotta have some entertaining conversation while I do this very, very boring part of the game. So, while I do love streaming, I guess it's not something I'll be doing that much going forward. We'll see, and we still have Extra Life. That's supposed to be November, right? So that's another thing to consider. Another thing we have to push for. We'll see how it works out. Of course, if you're interested in these kind of things, please let us know. I get so much email personally and private messages, but try to lay as well on our Facebook page. I guess a lot of people are kind of boycotting Facebook. We don't get the voicemails we used to. So, take a moment out to just send us a question, a topic you'd like us to discuss. Let us know how we're doing, good or bad. Make it constructive though. Don't just say we're a bunch of fags or anything. I mean that's funny, sure, but not much we could do with that. Well, it's not funny for everyone. Some people may not like that because we live in a very oversensitive world where everyone has to complain about something. Yeah, we'll get into that in a second too, because it's been a lot of stuff in the media, and of course most of it negative. But just a little housekeeping. We do this show live at twitch.tv/Geeky Antics every Thursday at 11 p.m. Eastern. That's 8 p.m. Pacific and 4 a.m. BT/GMT. Earlier in the day, over at allgames.com, our unofficial sister network, we do HorsePLAY Replay, our reruns. That's at 5 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you go over to allgames.com and show some love over there. They are booming. They got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of great shows. We had a ton of great shows. We're trying to do something different, but running a network is a lot of work. And All Games, why reinvent the wheel? They've been doing it for much longer than us and longer than pretty much everyone else. One of the original folks to really pioneer interactive shows and geek-centric content and podcasting. So lots of love for them. And yeah, we keep making it to the top 10 over there. So I know that we're getting a lot of All Games love. Appreciate that. And again, say something. Tweet us at Geeky Antics. Tweet me at YogiZilla. Leave us a voicemail or text message over at 646-801-2149. Again, 646-801-2149. I should probably switch the video over so those that are watching on YouTube or Twitch can see that information. And of course, email. That's still a thing. mail@geekyantics.net. Lots of ways to connect with us. And if you want the ongoing experience, you want to really be part of our gaming, our random banter, we have the Discord servers. Free service for chatting. That's geekyantics.net/Discord. Got a frog in my throat. So there's a lot to discuss tonight. I do want to say before we get into the kind of somber and upsetting kind of news. Again, episode 200. That's gonna be Thursday, October 12th. We'll probably start earlier. I'm hoping we could do some pre-game, some pre-show gaming. There'll definitely be some post-show. I'm gonna try to take a hell of a power nap so I could be fully revitalized for it. I took a power nap today and made a big difference. Big difference. It ended up being more than just a nap because I guess I was so tired. My body was like, "No, you're not getting up yet." Next thing you know, like 2 hours later, I'm like, "Oh, okay, here we go." And got some work done, did some stuff around the house. Started the show a little late. It's now quarter after 11, or 11:20. So, we're already 9 minutes in. I'm just rambling already. But here we are. Super stoked. I want to get us in a position where we're doing this more out of the community involvement and less out of habit. I feel a lot of podcasts are self-serving. It's just people finding an excuse to hear themselves more. Or it's just something they're used to, so they keep it going. But no other reason outside of that. I want it to be more about you guys. I want it to be more about the community, how we could collaborate on things, and just engage each other in meaningful ways. And I get a lot of us are kind of recluses, But step out of your shell and join us. And is that a Obi Kenobi that I see?
Yeah.
Well, episode 200 is next week, but I'm glad you made it.
Well, I was gonna to just pop on here. I'll definitely be on there. We have a midnight release tonight for our new server, so I won't be on long.
Okay. Well, it's probably a good thing because I'm about to get into some upsetting type of news. We'll start with the lighter of the sad news. Tom Petty passed away. They pulled life support, and he's moved on. You know, we keep talking about
when you do cocaine for 30 years.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, but you know, keep talking about things that are like the markers for the end of an era, right? That's like more and more. I feel like us old farts are being pushed away, and the millennials are taking over. I mean, they now make up 60% of the workforce. Hey, nothing against you young folks, by the way. I know we have a lot of young listeners, but you know, 60% of the workforce are millennials, and then you got the Generation Z's or whatever they call them now, the alphas moving in, and all the old farts are all our idols that we had growing up are passing on. All the baby boomers are retiring or dead. You know, it's like, damn.
You know what I found out the other day?
What's that?
Is that my wife and everybody in my house except for me is a millennial.
Yeah? The criteria is surprisingly broad.
They're saying like millennials are from 1982 and on to like 2002 or whatever.
Yeah, it's one of the broadest generations that there's been. I'm adjusting you right now because you're peaking pretty bad. You sound like you're talking through a kazoo.
Yeah, I'm sorry, pal. I'm outside getting ready for this release.
Oh, no problem. That's the one to kill my ears. You know, I'm sensitive. I'm teasing.
Usually, old men are sensitive.
Yeah, it's true. But nothing post-production can't fix. So, another thing I wanted to speak to. A lot of folks have asked me, you know, how my family's doing in Puerto Rico. It's a touch-and-go situation for a lot of folks. Clean water is still an issue. A few days ago when I really checked in, they said about 90% of the island, 95% is still without power. It's crazy. But the water is a big problem. The power, you know, there's ways you could account for that. A lot of people use gas and stuff, so there's ways to work around that, you know, cook outside in a fire pit or barbecue, whatever. Of course, you know, and a lot of people still grow food over there, so there's that. But what's really ugly about the situation is how it's become a political shitstorm. Because, you know, there's all this stuff where people are shitting on Trump, and then there's stuff saying about people saying that Puerto Ricans are being lazy and they want everything done for them, and you know, I don't know, some things were quoted out of context. You know, Trump has no filter, so he says stuff that's really just stupid. It's like, did you really think that through? But that's our president, you know, he just kind of just balls to the wall kind of guy, love it or hate it. So, you know, there's some bad blood between Puerto Rico and Trump. There's a lot of stuff there. I'm not going to get into it. And I don't remember all the details. It's been a while. But many, many years ago, some money was borrowed. And this is what people don't realize. Trump may be rich, but it doesn't mean he's not struggling. It's ridiculous to sound. Like, there's people that are rich on paper, but when you look at their liquidity, their cash flow, they're like basically broke, and you know, this had basically really good credit. So he has a lot of assets, he has really good credit, you know, he has a lot of influence, you know, but he has a shit ton of debt. And imagine, you know, debt at that level. I mean, they always say that. What's the thing? I forgot how the saying goes, but you know, when you get money, it doesn't fix broke people problems. It just makes the big broke people problems bigger, you know, greater scale, and that's certainly true here. What's that?
It fixes it for a little while.
Yeah, for a little while, and then you just start doing the same dumb things that got you there to begin with. So anyway, you know, there's bad blood there because he owes money, and I don't know. I don't know how true all of it is, and things are always exaggerated. But there's this stuff there. There's morsels of truth, and basically they're setting him up to fail, and saying that the United States, but they specifically say Trump, so they make it very personal, is not supporting Puerto Rico by bringing supplies in. But apparently the mayor of San Juan, she along with the governor of Puerto Rico, Rosello, it's actually Pedro Rosello's son, are denying or withholding some of the supplies. Some kind of mess is going on there just to make Trump look bad. And meanwhile, people are, finding ways to communicate. I think now about 40% of the island has cell phone reception. And people are calling in, and they're afraid to say who they are because they work for government agencies, and they're crying, they're desperate. You can hear the desperation in their voice. And talk about how, the families, huge households are only getting like one case of water, which is nothing really, like a small case of water, and they're being denied other supplies, and they're stashing all this stuff, and only like the influential are getting it, and it's just ugly all around, and people are dying because of it. What's that?
I'm not saying that those problems aren't like big, but it's the same problems we have here. That's the whole mentality of the rich gets richer type mentality.
Oh yeah. But I mean, Puerto Rico's in a really bad place because there was already economic downward spiral, and now you're talking about billions of dollars in debt just in restoration costs to get back to some semblance of normalcy, normality, whatever you want to call it, and now all this other stuff going on, it's bad. It's gonna be hard for Puerto Rico to bounce back. And then there's companies out there. There's a lot of high-profile companies moved over there just for the cheap rent, but they have tax shelters, so they're not really bringing that much money into the local economy. But they are creating jobs, so that's a good thing. I don't know. It's pretty scary. It's pretty scary right now. And not to mention all the refugees from the other islands in the Caribbean that went there, especially the folks from St. Martin. Those islands are very close, so people are, swimming over, taking little boats over, all kinds of mess to seek refuge, and then, Hurricane Maria hits, and everything gets even worse. So they got hit by Irma and Maria, and it's bad. If you see some of the photos, it's just tragic. The one saving grace is a lot of the homes in Puerto Rico are made out of cement, so they're pretty sturdy, but all the infrastructure is just wiped out. It's crazy. So hopefully people put their penises away and start playing nice with each other instead of thinking about political agendas. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, if your country is failing and your people are dying and there's civil unrest, what's the point of getting a few votes by making someone out to be the bad guy, having a scapegoat? It's stupid. Put your differences away and just get it done. So, and special thanks to all the armed forces that have been coming to, deliver stuff. That the folks that are finding ways to take their boats, personal vehicles to bring supplies in. Hear those are the stories we need to hear more of. People taking matters to their own hands and actually doing something. Meanwhile, everyone else just complains about shit. And it's like I have a few friends that are atheists or agnostic, and they'll once in a while they'll joke, oh, we lost Obi, I guess he really had to go, and they'll share little memes about poking fun of religion. One of the ones I've seen a lot is, won't do anything but will pray to feel guilty about it, and I'm like, it's kind of fucked up, but it's kind of true. I mean, I believe in God, but at some point you have to stop just saying, oh, let's just pray on it and actually do something. Things don't magically happen. If you believe in God, then, you should realize that He'll guide your actions and facilitate things, but it's not like it's going to magically happen just because you keep praying, and sitting on your ass. Meanwhile, pointing fingers at people that are horrible. Oh, you're not doing this, you're not doing that. Well, what are you doing? Are you adding to the problem? Are you helping? Anyway, I don't want to get too political. What's up, Beard? And welcome back, Obi.
Yeah, sorry, I had to switch to my other mic. I was outside, but I hate to do this to you, homeboy. Seeing that next week is 200, I'm so happy. So I can go. I'm in charge of training for our new server. So, what's up, everybody? Sorry about the bad news and all Puerto Rico and everything, but all we can do is, if you pray, keep them in your prayers. If you don't. I guess I'm in this one of those kind of moods today, I guess.
Yeah, I think everybody is. a lot of angst right now. All the stuff that's in the news.
Yeah, well, I don't really pay attention to news much, and you know that, but there's only so much you can ignore and not watch until it's all over your Twitter feed and then all over your Facebook and all over everything that you're like, fudge, I don't want to see this right now. Who cares about this? But unfortunately, it is happening. So we got to.
Yeah, it all gets to you eventually.
Right. But I will be here next week, dude. Promise you. It starts at 11 o'clock. Hopefully, we have a good show because it'll be the 200th. For everybody on the stream, yes, I'm here. I am alive. We've been really busy. I'll let you guys know what we've been doing next week, of course. But I'll be lurking. I got to go have this meeting. Love you guys, and I'll see you next week.
All right, Obi.
All right, brother.
So, also, people have been asking, what do you think about the stuff going on with the NFL? I don't think anyone want to touch that stuff.
Yeah, let's leave that one alone.
Yeah. The only thing I'm gonna say to that is both sides have all sides have points, right? But that's the thing about negotiations and cooperation and just living in harmony is setting your differences aside and finding a middle ground. When people, this is the only thing I'm gonna say about it really. When you disrespect the flag, you think you're doing it to disrespect the country, but really you're disrespecting all the people in the country. That's the thing. It's not like we have a big government. I mean, some people would argue it is a big government, but ultimately, it's a country ran by the people. We make of it, everything that's going on is direct result of our actions. That's what I would say. We have our freedoms, and the government's there, but there's only so much they could do. So I don't know. I feel like everybody's just spitting in other people's faces, and then wondering why don't you want to support me in my cause? Because you're going about it the wrong way. Punch people in the gut and then say, hey, will you be my best friend? And I guess that works for some people, but I don't know. Maybe in grade school. Anyway. Anyway, yeah.
Let's talk about some positive things.
Well, we need to talk about the Vegas thing, because...
Oh, haven't gotten to that yet.
Yeah. And then we'll get all the shitty stuff out of the way. So, that was horrible. They said that's the biggest shooting there's ever been in our history, right?
Modern history, yeah.
In modern history, yeah. That's crazy. I don't know. How many was it that died? 56 or something?
I heard it was close to 100. I don't know if that's the confirmed number, but I heard it was creeping up to 100 with all the injuries that are steadily fading out.
And they still don't know what the shooter's motives are. Apparently,
I've seen theories floating around.
Wasn't he a well-off guy? Some people were saying he was wealthy. I don't think he was wealthy. I remember him being...
Yes, he was very wealthy.
Oh, he was very wealthy?
He was very.
Okay, I thought he was very well-off, not wealthy, rich wealthy,
Wealthy. There's a going theory, swimming in money, like Scrooge McDuck status.
Yeah, okay, so that's a whole different story.
The floating theory that I saw was he was a gun runner who else spends copious amounts of time in a hotel room in a city they own a house in?
Okay. That's starting to make more sense.
Who spends $10,000 to $20,000 a week at a casino if you're not cleaning money?
And they never talked about his formal profession, right?
He was a real estate developer.
Okay, yeah, so he's making other money under the table.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, that's a good profession, but in no way that he's filthy rich the way people are saying.
How else is he going to end up with 23 illegal guns and that much ammo?
Jesus. And they recently his girlfriend came forth and shared some details, but I didn't bother reading into it. The thing that stood out for me is how this suddenly became a platform for gun control.
Yeah, because gun control would stop him from having illegal weaponry.
Exactly. And this is what I love about the gun control argument. Only thing the gun control will do is stop the good guys from having guns.
It'll stop regular citizens.
Yeah.
Regular citizens having guns isn't a problem.
So the
other thing, the thing that really drove me insane was everyone complaining about silencers.
Oh God!
They think James Bond is actually real. A silencer knocks about 30 decibels off the firing of a gun, which drops it from 140 to 110. So you go from a jet engine to a jackhammer.
Yeah, and even if you said something like "don't make them readily available," you can make a freaking makeshift silencer. I mean,
and the problem is, it's the 1980s ruined everyone's concept of guns.
Where guns
and
just
the fact that it's called the fact that it's called a silencer also screws everything up.
Yeah, instead of a suppressor.
It's a suppressor because it suppresses muzzle flash and a little bit of the noise.
Yeah.
It's not... That just made my head explode when people were going on about that. It's like, no, you're missing the point. At full auto, a suppressor would have melted.
Yep.
Yes, it's tragic, but no amount of laws, no amount of regulations would have stopped it from happening.
And again, I go back to the gun control. You know, I wonder what the liberals' answer will be to being having their home invaded by people that have guns, and then say, "Hey, I'm glad we got gun control, because hey, sir, I know you're trying to rob me, but I'd appreciate if you put down your weapons. Those are illegal. Don't make me call the authorities on you. Don't you know there are gun control laws in place?"
Let's disarm the entire country. Because that won't immediately cause a civil war.
Yeah. Oh God.
And if I'm not going down that line of thought. That is radioactive, and I am not going there. But let's continue.
No, I'm with you. But that was my whole thing. Now, some control where you make it harder for people that have known mental issues, emotional issues.
That's already in place.
Yeah, it's already in place.
All these things are already in place. There's background checks already there. You can't just walk in somewhere and buy a gun and walk out. Well, at least not like a legitimate AR-15 or something of that nature.
Some states are not as
scary guns.
Yeah, some states are not as thorough though. Like in Georgia, I can tell you that it's really easy to get guns.
That's a problem of the laws being enforced. That's not a problem of the laws. If the laws are enforced, we have no problems.
Yeah.
But if you're just going to sit there and say, oh, we need more laws when the ones that are already there aren't being enforced, you're not going to solve anything.
Yep. And trying to do any kind of bans on guns is not addressing the root issues. There are some other issues in place. I mean, someone really wants to kill, they could do it with a rusty spoon. Then what are they gonna do? Oh, spoon control.
You joke, but in the UK, this kid was denied the sale of a spoon, of teaspoons.
Did he have a known history of violent behavior?
He's just a 16-year-old kid. He was denied the sale of a spoon because he didn't have a ID. A spoon.
I might support this if the kid looked suspicious.
All kids look suspicious. Let's not beat around the bush here. This
is true. I always assume the kids are up to nefarious things.
They are. But that's a level of clown world that I can't even handle. That's like, at that point, Britain's not even a real country. It's not a serious country anymore.
Yeah. I think it's a little silly when I get carded and I'm like, do you see the gray hair and the bald spot? Do I need more ID than that?
Yeah. If you really wanted to, you could, like, have a professional barber thin out your hair and you could dye your hair gray. And
that's true.
It's another one of those silly things.
And I am Chris with a baby face. I still have people my age call me kid. I'm like, dude, you're like a year older than me. Stop.
Sorry, if I shave, I look like I'm 12.
I can't shave completely. Oh, it's bad. Is that a good look for me?
I just trim the beard down and knock 10 years off my age every time.
That's how it works, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely condolences, folks that were impacted by the Vegas shooting. It is scary, and they'll take our salty dog rantings as not caring. It's just, let's not make tragedy become an excuse for more ignorance. That's
it is
what I'm saying.
I mean, look at Sandy Hook. Do you know what regulations they did, the rules that they passed afterwards to modify the AR-15s? All they did was change the buttstock and change the grip. Didn't change the size of the magazine it could hold. It didn't change the rate of fire it had, and it didn't change anything about the gun except for the look. It just looked less scary.
A big marketing brand image.
That's all they're going for. It's just aesthetic.
Look, get one for each of your kids. Yay.
You know what? In the 1950s, high schools taught shooting. People had guns and they were taught properly how to use them. And if people are taught how to use guns, they're not going to be terrified of them. It's the same thing as driving a car.
That's true.
The first time you're behind the wheel, it's terrifying. When you're a small child and you realize that a car can kill you, kind of frightening. But once you've used it and become comfortable with it, there's no issue.
Well, on the flip side, you also learn to respect it more.
Yeah.
You learn to respect the responsibility, If you're handling a firearm, don't point it at someone when you're walking around. You go and tell someone when they've never been around firearms, when they're just flashing it around and they're thinking it's funny. Like, no, you don't ever do that, even if it's not loaded. That's just bad practice.
Don't be stupid.
Yeah.
My friend's dad, hunter, 30 years. Guy's been around guns pretty much his entire life. Even he put a bullet through the ceiling of his room, through the living room right above it, out the roof of his house. Because if you're not paying attention, that shit's gonna happen.
Yeah.
You gotta be. You can never be careful. You can never be too comfortable around it.
Yeah.
You need to learn the respect. And that's the thing. It's just kids will learn eventually, right?
Eventually.
Or eventually we'll never leave the house. Everyone will just work from home. Amazon will deliver everything by drone. And we'll be good.
Just stay home, become little stumps with no appendages.
The Wall-E future. That's the future we're going to live in.
Or flying around in giant orbs.
Yeah, we're all going to live in little floating chairs with the Amazon Corporation bringing us everything we need. Yeah, that's the future that we will have. Except it'll probably be much more dystopian than that.
Oh, God. Scary. So, this is really late news, but I know people have been clamoring for this. If you didn't realize yet, Call of Duty Black Ops 2 is now backwards compatible on the Xbox One.
That was the last good Call of Duty.
Yeah. That's all the cheaters fucked it up. I think that was the last one I really got. That was definitely the last one I really got into for sure. So, that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah,
So.
that was honestly, that was the last good Call of Duty. It was the last. It was right as it peaked. I mean, that story was god awful, but all of them are. It's like the worst action movie you've ever seen. Each of them.
Well, I think the Call of Duty proper, they tend to have a little better story. The Black Ops one, not so much.
Even then, you're stretching it.
Yeah. They have some good story beats, though, like, you know, some betrayals and stuff, and you're like, oh, that's badass. Then it's like, all right, back to Michael Bay, big dumb fun.
Yeah, I mean, that's... The thing is, the games are aware of what they are. It's not like they're pretending to be something they're not, a la Destiny. Good night, Warchild. Come back sometime.
Good night, bro. See you next week for episode 200.
Come back and hang out. It'll be great.
We'll try to start it early since you're working a morning shift, too.
No, you have to suffer. We're going to start it later just to fuck with you.
Dun, dun, dun. I already told my boss, too. I said, I'm going to be coming in late on Friday. I asked him if I could come in late. I said, I'm going to be coming in late on Friday.
Yeah, it's easier to get forgiveness than permission, so just let him know.
Yep. Well, he told me straight up. He said, hey, you know, I know you work a lot, so if you need to leave early or go do some personal errands, just give me a heads up just so I know where you're at. But he doesn't care. He's pretty hands-off. It's pretty great. Try to take advantage of it, though, so that when I really need to take advantage of it, you know, I won't feel as bad. Just personal integrity, you know?
Yeah, I can agree with you on that one. That's why I rarely call out.
Now, I won't lie. There's been some days where it's really, like, I'm super exhausted, and I'll just close my office door and take a little power nap.
Some jobs just have the luxury of being able to do that.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely more than make up the time.
Yeah. Well, your salary, so...
Yeah, yeah.
Technically, you're getting paid to do this right now.
This is true. And then it also means I can get a phone call anytime. So...
That's only if you're on call.
Well, yeah. So there's a few things, like, you know, if you're a key holder for security purposes, if an alarm goes off, you have to respond to that. That's a weekly rotation. But then just, like, other emergencies. I'm just everyone's preferred manager. I'm one of the few people that actually picks up or returns calls.
Oh, that drives me insane. There's a couple of system administrators I work with that will not answer their phone, will not call back.
Oh, yeah.
Ever.
That's definitely
on call.
A learned behavior.
There was one issue. I won't get into specifics, but there's a database issue that only 3 people would know how to handle and fix. 3 people. That's it.
Damn.
Not one of them answered their phone. Not one of them responded to an email. Not one of them was able to be reached from 3 in the morning until they got into office at 9 o'clock.
Yay.
That was beautiful. We're sitting there on a conference call, just twiddling our thumbs because, like, so is there anything anyone can do? Nope. So this is just going to stay down until we hear back from them? Yeah. Called them every 15 minutes for 4 hours.
Damn.
It was great.
Good times.
Hell of a night. Good plan, great plan. So we get to talk about fun stuff now?
Yeah, quick thing on the TV side. So like, it just freaking hit me that Fox has a lot of good shows now, and I still hate them. I'm still holding a grudge about Firefly. Over 10 years
It's
later,
been almost 20 years.
I know
That show wasn't even that good.
I loved it.
Oh, everyone did, except me.
I know. We've had this conversation, but no,
I think I just don't like Nathan Fillion.
Really, you don't like him at all?
That might be it.
Oh, I love him. That's a big part of the reason why I love this show. I find him so lovable.
But I love Alan Tudyk or whatever his name is. The voice actor, the guy who's in everything.
Sounds familiar.
Ginger, spiky red hair.
I think that's talking about, yeah. Well, wait. Let's talk about some of the other characters here. What do you think about Morena Baccarat? She's also in Gotham. No?
See, I don't watch Gotham. See that the show just never. No, I don't have the nostalgia for it. I didn't have the enjoyment of it when it was out.
Yeah. You either got into it, or you just missed it altogether. You blinked your eye and it was gone.
What year was that? 2002.
Yeah. That's about right. Yeah. Close to 2 decades. Crazy.
Yeah, 15 years.
Well, there's another show I would recommend that's the sci-fi space stuff that you might like. It's got the creator of Family Guy in it, Seth MacFarlane.
Oh, the Star Wars, or the Star Trek spoof?
Yeah, Orville. Now, I'm going to tell you, I went into it thinking it was just going to be Family Guy style. I mean, Family Guy, I was expecting Family Guy in space. A lot of, like, humor and just in your face. But actually, it's a lot more serious than I expected. And the humor is a lot more subtle. So, like,
I feel like Seth MacFarlane is going to do that intentionally in order to distance himself from being thought of as, like, a one-trick pony.
Yeah, that makes sense. So the humor is still there, but I think it takes itself seriously enough where you can look at it and appreciate all the drama and plot developments, you know? So...
I mean, Family Guy's been the butt of every actual writer's jokes for a while now.
Yeah, but Emmy award winning, so they can suck it.
Yeah, that just means they shelled out the most money.
Yeah, but you know, it's fun. It's fun stuff. But this is actually, I feel like it's very well thought out. So I'm quite enjoying it. I would recommend it wholeheartedly. If you haven't seen it yet.
No, I haven't. All I watch is football and children's shows.
Also, it's got what's her name? Adrian Palicki. I've always found her easy on the eyes. She's got this like distinct kind of like French/Hungarian kind of thing going on. Very nice. You're just gonna nod your head.
I'll pretend I know what you're talking about.
She was in G.I. Joe, and I think she was in the Fast and Furious movies too. She's been in a bunch of stuff.
She was in John Wick.
John Wick, there you go. Yep. Oh, she's the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. She played Bobby. She was good on that. She kind of reminds me of like, I used to always have a thing for Cindy Crawford, and she has a similar beauty mark. So that's part of it. I don't know why that does it for me. It's weird.
Because you love Cindy Crawford. That's why.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Back when I used to subscribe to SI and get the calendars and all that. Now I'm like, yeah, it's not an effort.
Yeah, I just have Instagram now. That's all that matters.
Yeah. That's it. That's what it is. I think we've kind of spoiled by the availability of that kind of content. Now it's like there's so much of it. It's like, why pay
Everyone's
for it?
just throwing it out there for free.
Yep. That's definitely true. But I still like a good calendar. Doesn't have to be scantily clad women, but a good physical calendar is a very good resource to have, especially in rooms that you frequent, throughout the day. Your office, living room, kitchen, etc.
I got a calendar on my phone, so I'm good.
Yeah, but then people can't write stuff on it, You can have your kids email you appointments on your phone. I don't know, is that the same? I like the family candy. Yeah, but family candy, you can put little stickers on it and stuff, I like organizational tools. And I feel like physical makes you feel more committed, I still do the digital.
Guys.
The what?
You're one of them corporate guys.
Oh, God.
Probably throwing out buzzwords in your sleep. Between snores, it's like, synergy.
I've gotten better about the jargon. Because now I catch it when other people use it. I'm like, okay, you didn't really actually say anything. You just threw out a bunch of buzzwords, nonsensical phrases. They just sound good.
Once you're aware of the jargon and the buzzwords, every press release just sounds like absolute garbage.
Oh yeah, and you're just cringing, like
the whole time.
Like, can you say something like natural? Can you ad lib a little bit?
It's like, come on, just be human.
Yeah. But it's so scared of saying the wrong thing. If you go off script and then you slip up and you say something Trump worthy, then you're like, damn it, I'm that guy.
Or like Cam Newton.
Cam Newton.
No one's allowed to just put their foot in their mouth anymore, though. Everything has to be this big offended oppression Olympics nonsense. You can't just be like, well, I said something stupid. Sorry. You got to come out and apologize and be sure to flagellate yourself 15 times, say 9 Hail Marys.
Yeah, and it's the more visible you are, the more prolific you are, the more people hold you to a higher standard, as if you're supposed to be a saint. But those same people are scumbags. It's just they're not important enough for anyone to care. It's kind
That's
of
the
a
thing.
standard.
Everyone's a scumbag to someone else.
This is true. I'm a scumbag for loving meat.
Yeah, you are.
How dare you? How dare you eat Bambi? What did Bambi do to you?
Showed up and deserved it.
I didn't kill Bambi. I just ate her. She was delicious.
Best believe I would have if I had the chance.
There's this local burger joint called Farmhouse. They're one of the best burger places I've been to. And they have the venison burger that they bring back every so often. So good. Oh, so good. They have.
You ever wonder how many cows you've eaten that were directly related to each other?
No, because that made me slightly bummed out. Think about the kids
now
they leave
that'll be in your
behind.
head forever.
Oh my god. Like, oh god, I hope I didn't widow somebody. Poor Gertrude. Poor Gertrude. I don't know. That seems like a good
That seems
cow
like an
name.
appropriate cow name.
Yeah. What else would you name her? I don't know. Bertha?
Mildred?
Mildred is good. I'd definitely buy that. Mildred the cow? That flows.
Why do cows all have like old European grandma names?
Because that's what makes sense.
Yeah. Science.
I mean, let's try to think of a name that wouldn't work, like Jessica the cow. See? Doesn't feel right.
Yeah, doesn't work.
Yeah, I don't like it. If we want to go a little more Ebonics, Shaniqua the cow? Nope, definitely not.
I definitely wasn't going to go there.
I did it for you this time.
You're allowed. You're allowed.
Oh, man. So what have you been playing since we last talked?
The only game I've been playing, the only game I've had time for was Fortnite.
Yes, the multiplayer, the free thing they got.
Yeah, the only console battle royale that I'm aware of. And I must say, it's really good. Like it's like a stylized version of PUBG, and I can't find any fault with it. And the fact that it's free,
Yeah.
I mean, how can you go wrong with it? It's free. They did that on purpose to beat PlayerUnknown,
Oh, yeah.
and it's the gameplay's solid. The building mechanic in it takes some getting used to, and it's not exactly forefront in the gameplay, but it's definitely something that deeper into the runs you're going to want to be aware of. Because you're not going to show up and just build a little house somewhere, because you don't know where the circle is going to close down on, but you can definitely fortify some places and build some stairs and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen... Go ahead.
It's well worth anyone's time who has a PlayStation 4, has been interested in playing PUBG but doesn't want to invest that money.
It's an Xbox One, too.
It's like, is Fortnite on Xbox One as well?
Yep.
Oh, well, if you got an Xbox, get it. Free. Do it.
Yeah,
if you don't like it, oh well, you're out an hour, man.
Well, I
Whatever
noticed...
the electricity was to download it.
Which, let's be honest, people probably already had the console on for one reason or other.
Yeah.
But when I look at my friends list, it's people playing that, Rainbow Six Siege, Elder Scrolls Online, believe it or not. and Destiny 2, of course. But majority are Destiny 2 and Fortnite.
Yeah, those are the big ones right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I figure Destiny 2 would be tapering off now that everyone's done everything.
Well, next week's Iron Banana, so that's gonna get people hyped again. But I do notice that like now, it's very different. People get very heavy into it a couple of days before the reset to get all their challenges done, and then
Yeah, they gotta jump in and do their chores. They gotta do their homework.
Yep, and then they disappear the rest of the week.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, we're already at that point. Like, it didn't get to that point until The Taken King was about to release.
Yeah, because it took about a year for everyone to realize that was the optimization.
Yeah.
And now that's the optimization. That's how people are going to run it.
Yep. It's true. Oh, and of course, that also lines up with coming on a weekend to find where Zer's at and get the goods. Which I think Zer now is in a freaking static location. He doesn't rotate anymore, which that's kind of boring.
Well, there's also not a tower, so there's nowhere for him to just kind of creep around in the corners in.
There is a tower. That's the sad part. There's 2 social hubs. There's the farm and the tower, but this is the new tower. I don't want to spoil it for anyone that hasn't played yet.
Maybe Zer was tired of wandering and wanted to go and lay down some roots somewhere.
Yeah.
Buy some land, start a family. You don't know Zer's life.
I think that seems legit. He's trying to settle down. He did all the traveling he wanted to do. Makes sense.
Now, where's the other agents of the 9? They were supposed to have better shit. Unless Bungie redlined that as well.
Well, they make reference to them in the Trials of the 9, which I haven't tried yet. I think it's just Trials of Osiris with some slightly different changes. I mean, I'm enjoying it, but it's pretty much what I expected. Destiny 1.5. I don't regret buying
Destiny 1 just polished.
Yeah. I mean, it looks really good.
I can't really knock Destiny 1 from a polished standpoint. That game was damn near perfect in every aspect except
the bugs.
Playability. Even the bugs were tolerable. I mean, Borderlands 2 was Bug City, and people were fine with it because the gameplay was good. And with Destiny, that gameplay, Bungie knows how to make a first-person shooter. But when it comes to story writing, they could have hired someone who knew what they were.
Yeah, the story writing, it's better, like way better, but it didn't set the bar very high to begin with. And I've had this discussion with a few people, and they look at me like I'm crazy. It's like, no, the writing is great. I'm like, the only reason it's great is because you love the banter from Cade and Failsafe, which they're a package deal. But all the other characters are, man, like the dialogue. Like some of the dialogue, it basically, it makes me cringe because they point out things that are happening in front of you that are plain to see, but they have to like have the dialogue reflect what's going on, and then they make a big deal as if it's a huge reveal, like you didn't catch on 2 hours ago. And I'll give you an example. I mean, you have no plans of playing the game, right?
No, not even a little bit. I've watched several reviews of it, so I know I was, as much as I was talking shit, I was legitimately on the fence with getting the game. But yeah, I was like, it very well could pull me back in if it's all the promise that they lead up to. Because I'll talk shit. I'll hate on everything. But if it's good and I'm wrong, I'll accept it. But I'm not wrong in this case.
No, it's a lot of it does feel phoned in, and because they don't have to set the bar high, people are gonna keep playing it. They developed a cult following, you know, so they can keep shoving shit and people will keep eating it. But you know, like one of the things was like the whole game plays as if it's almost as if the first game doesn't exist. They introduce all the different races, all the different factions, and it almost to an extent feel like paint by numbers. Like whenever they introduce like the Taken, they're back, and the Fallen and the Hive, they like the dialogue's literally talking about why they act certain ways and who they are, as if you never went through that already. I'm like, didn't we get all this background already? Okay, I guess they expect this to be the entry point for a lot of folks. Okay, fair enough. Then, you know, when they introduce the Taken, they keep saying, oh, they use the power of the Void to corrupt things. So what's the opposite of the Void in this world? The light. So I'm like, oh, okay, let me guess. They're going to introduce the notion that you could take the light and corrupt things with the light. And they were totally telegraphing that twist. And then when the so-called twist comes, they're like, wait, are they using the Traveler to harvest his light and corrupt other beings? Like, that's your big twist? And they had to spell it out for you as if we're too dumb to figure it out as the audience.
That's what happens when you aim at the lowest common denominator.
Gosh, but that's really like dumbing it down. And I don't know if that's just poor writing or the fact that maybe people have really become that dumb. Because if it didn't spell it out verbatim, people would have missed that story beat somehow. Like they were building up. The lead was not buried at all. Like they were just shoving the lead in your face. Like, here's a giant cock. See this? Follow it. It's gonna take you to a penis. Oh, that is the penis. Oh, that was the twist.
Yeah, it's a combination of some people really need that much of hand holding.
God.
And the focus isn't on the story. It's not on the writing. And most games, it's very apparent.
Man. And the thing is, when I share this logic, you know, I act like I'm really salty, but I'm really not. But people say, "Oh, you're just nitpicking." Like, no, like, are you not slightly offended that the assumption is that you're too dumb to understand things, so they're gonna dumb it down for you? You know, kind of bothers me a little bit.
That, in a nutshell, is why people were so pissed about the Mass Effect 3 ending.
Well,
because then they were told after that to shut up and like it.
And even that wasn't as
that
bad.
Wasn't even as dumbed down as what we have now.
Yeah.
5 years later, everyone forgets.
And that you could almost apologize for it because, you know, a lot of time with projects, you spend so much time on the front end. The projects are front loaded, right? By the time you get to that last stretch, you spent all your resources, and now you're in a sprint to get everything done, right? So,
yeah. Well,
you know, they set the bar really high, and it's like, wow, we have all these great branching stories, and now they have to all come to a single point. How we're gonna do that? So,
it's the problem with why I think Telltale games are bullshit.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, all these choices that you're making, they don't matter. They're completely irrelevant.
Yeah.
Because you're just gonna go to the end and get maybe 2, 3 endings? Tops? And 90% of the choices you made won't matter because it'll all lead to the same things.
But to have true freedom in the video game experience, you would need such a complex algorithm with fuzzy logic and different variables in place, and you'd have to account for every possibility to allow the engine to handle the break-off points, and then on top of that, so you either have to have a really short game that has a whole bunch of possibilities in it, or just massive amounts of data,
Yeah, so it'd be like you're talking like the Stanley Parable,
right?
Or Dragon Age Origins.
Yep.
So
Stanley Parable is a very good example of having a lot of variety in the mundane stuff, a lot of micro experiences. But that's what it's completely designed for,
Yeah, that's what it was. They came at it with the onset. But I mean, all you need to do is go dig up some choose your own adventure stories. Read through those, and then you learn how to write a better story than Telltale can ever put out.
Yeah, and choose your own adventure has a good system because you have certain checkpoints built in, different parts where it branches off, and then it completely changes with everything going forward. But again, from a programmer's perspective, you have to like plan for that,
Yeah, and isn't that the point of making a video game?
Yeah, but a lot of those a lot of the skills that came in the programmer's toolbox have gone away because they dumbed down that process too. So a lot of the guys don't know how to dig that deep into the code. I hate to say.
I'm not gonna say it was dumbed down. That's not fair. Because a lot of what they're working with is infinitely higher end than anyone could have dreamed of back in the 80s.
It's higher end, right? But
and it's streamlined.
A lot of the framework, or streamlined is a nice way of saying it, but a lot of the framework's already there. So like the underlying tech isn't done as much. A lot of people are working with engines that are already in place and frameworks are already in place.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
the
saying.
Unity engine, things like that. That's because those engines are either good enough or just convenient enough to save the company money.
Oh yeah,
which they should be then putting in on writing and coherent gameplay and not shipping a game that requires a 10 gigabyte patch on delivery on day one.
That doesn't sound personal at all.
No, not at all. I'm not upset that Tony Hawk's Pro Skater was unplayable garbage when it was released and is still barely playable now. No, I'm not bitter about any of that. I'm not bitter about the fact that you take a game that was genuinely fun and then put out one last game because your license was about to expire on the trademark just to squeeze a little bit of cash out of it.
Yep.
And suck everything good out of the game.
And another thing to think about too, coming back to what we're talking about, is the real challenge, the fundamental challenge is that if you're trying to tell your story, it's almost a mutual exclusive proposition from allowing a player to have freedom. To have both happen side by side is just, it's too difficult, and I think it's a fool's errand. You either want to tell a good story, and it's a guided experience. There's a certain degree of control and linear, right, aspects to it, because you want them to get to that end point. Or you make it truly open, and the story is whatever they want to make it. And maybe you could do like what Dark Souls does and just kind of sprinkle some things here and there and some common experiences, but ultimately people do whatever the hell they want.
Sprinkle. The fact the story is sprinkled is a generous term. it's like finding water in a desert to parse through that story.
Yeah. So like
But
I like what they do because it's more about lore and like character development than it is having an overarching story. So the experience is what you make of it.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The story is entirely secondary.
Yeah.
That lore, everything else that's there, if you want to look into it, if you're intrigued, there's stuff there. There's opportunity there to go and look. But it's not the point of it. They didn't go out on the onset with, we're going to have this grand narrative. Like, no, this game's going to be hard as shit. Good luck.
Yep. Which cracks me up, too, because a common criticism of Dark Souls is that there is no story. Like, this would be so good if it had a story. No, it wouldn't. You're missing the point. The story would actually detract from the experience. It's this good. If it had
a story? Yeah, if it had a story, it would be like, was it Lords of the Fallen? I mean, yes, that game has all the same beats that Dark Souls has. It's got the unforgiving difficulty, it's got the bosses, the death, go get your souls back, all that, it's there. But it's not as good because the narrative takes away from the game.
I thought it wasn't that good because the controls weren't as tight.
That's the other thing. The controls weren't doing you any favors.
Yeah.
At all. But
otherwise, a great game, I feel.
If you can get past the controls, if you can learn that you're always vulnerable, like even when you sometimes have invincibility frames, you don't.
Yeah.
Don't rely on them.
I learned that the hard way from what little I played.
Yeah, when I got it for free, I played it for a couple of days. And then I just went back to playing Dark Souls 3.
The sad part is it's a good looking game.
It is. They did a lot right with that game, especially for a small developer, small publisher. I think it was small dev. I think it was big time publisher, but either way, they did a lot right. And I would have liked to see him kind of polish it a little bit more, but do what you got to do.
Yeah, if the controls were more responsive, that game would have been aces in my book. It's just it's a tough barrier to break through to get through that learning curve of learning the controls and making them work for you, just so you could really dive into the experience. Because to me, the time I spent with it was just trying to wrestle with the controls, and it just didn't feel natural. Yeah.
Well, it's a game for people who played Demon's Souls and Dark Souls 1, and then thought the rest of the games after that were too easy. Because if you go back and play either of those games, those controls, that is the first boss of that game.
Yeah. I don't know, because you saw me streaming Dark Souls Prepare to Die edition. I didn't find it anywhere as crazy as Lords of the Fallen. Lords of the Fallen just felt off. And I played them even back to back. I was like, huh.
But with the Dark Souls games, you've played the game, so you've learned the controls. You've played every iteration after it, so the controls are pretty much second nature at that point. All they did going forward was just smooth it out and make it easier.
Yeah.
And then Bloodborne happened, and they found the best engine they could possibly have for the games.
Imagine playing original Dark Souls or even Demon's Souls with the Bloodborne engine.
I would cut my leg off right now and give it to Miyazaki, personally. I am not joking when I say That is all I want out of life, is a trilogy remaster of all 3 of the games. Well, you don't need to remaster the 3rd one because that was made in the Bloodborne engine.
Yeah.
But you give me 1 and 2 with the Bloodborne engine, I'm here for it. I'm in.
Especially one is rough to go back to. Even after you do like the third-party patches to make it look better, it just feels overall dated. You know, it's weird how much changes in a few years.
I think 2 would fare the best from it though, because 2 had its own special level of clunkiness.
Yeah. I like 2 a
also
lot.
had the power stance.
Yeah.
I feel like people give 2 way too hard of a... They give it way too much shit. And then they give Dark Souls 3 a pass.
And 2 gets it from both ends. You have the purists that say Dark Souls 1 is the best and the original, and that's it. They didn't even talk about Demon Souls. And then anything else is wrong, especially Dark Souls 2. And they have the people that really love Dark Souls 3 because they perfected everything. And then you go back to Dark Souls 2, like, ugh, it's unplayable.
3 was my favorite because it was really apparent that you were supposed to play the game aggressively, and the game didn't discourage it as much, whereas 1 and 2 definitely discouraged you from playing aggressively.
But
also required you to play aggressively.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you could just hide behind a shield the whole time, cower, and pick your point. Then you're going to play 90 to 100 hours in there.
Rushing in blind is not recommended.
But it's more fun that way.
Gosh, but there's so many pits you could fall into and cliffs you fall off of, and
oh yeah, the environments were definitely way more unforgiving in 1 and 2. 3 felt comfy.
2, the environments killed me more than the enemies. Because you get to that point where the fatigue sets in, and then you're just like, all right, let me just rush through this part and get back to where I was. And then you just start doing stupid shit. Like, oh, I didn't jump at the end of that run. I was supposed to jump right there. And you just walk off a cliff. Like, oh, okay, good job. But you get...
By walk off, you mean dead sprint? Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Or you misjudge something by a pixel or something. Just stupid shit like that. Like, ugh. But I really want to play Dark Souls 3, but I feel like I need to finish 2 at least.
You don't need to.
I want to though. I'm so far in it.
I gotta get... I lent out my copy of Dark Souls 3. I bought all the DLC for Dark Souls 3 because I forgot that I had lent it out. And the season pass was on sale. I was like, sweet, now I'm going to play this. And no, I'm not.
In Dark Souls 2, I got up to... I beat that boss that you fight in the dark. I guess he's like a blind swordsman.
Yeah. That's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool fight. I enjoyed that fight a lot. Then I think there was an easier way to beat him. That you're supposed to light something.
Nah, do everything the hard way.
I forgot what it was. You have to light the little things on the side. I think I fought him in the dark though when I beat him. That was no easy feat. Or maybe I didn't beat him. I don't remember now. I gotta go back and just see. I might be still stuck on him.
It's one of those games that going back to and not knowing where you were is a death sentence.
Oh, I know.
It's worse than every RPG. You'll pick up a random save point in Final Fantasy VII and just be like, where the fuck was I? And you go and you run down the checklist of all the things that are out there. It's like, all right, I don't have a gold chocobo yet. I have the tiny Bronco still. And Emerald's not here. Ruby's not there. Okay. Let's go to Gold Saucer, see if I can parse out some clues.
Metroid Prime was like that for me.
Oh, God. Prime was just as bad.
Because at one point, I got to the point where the space pirates were finally like attacking. There was a reveal, and then they start coming consistently, like bum rushing you. And I think I fought a couple of bosses after that. Then I took like a 1 month break, got busy at work, come back to the game like, which way do I go now? And the place that you know it's open, so you just keep wandering. You're like, no, I don't think this is it. And you have no idea where to go next. That whole map was a freaking one continuous maze. So I'm like, well, I gotta start from the beginning, I guess.
They did that right. They did that. Those 3 games are classics.
Oh, yeah.
Also, they were the best example of motion controls on the Wii. They kind of showed everyone. Oh, yeah. They put that bar. That was the high water mark that no one else touched. Even with the added motion control plus feature, like the extra gyro that you plugged into the bottom, even with that, most games weren't on that level.
Yeah.
Because Nintendo knew what they were doing, and no one else cared. Which, once Metroid 4 has more than just a title card, that's when I'll look into buying the Switch.
Yeah.
But the No More Heroes Part 3 of the trilogy has me excited.
Yeah, Metroid definitely is what gets me listening. Love Mario, absolutely love Zelda, but not enough to buy a console just to play 1 or 2 games. But Metroid is just such a unique experience. You know, there's some things that come close, but Metroid I feel like is in a class of its own. I just love getting lost in that world. I gotta say, playing Recore, it doesn't have as much of the depth and detail, but Recore took me back to a familiar place, and that game doesn't get enough love. But
Recore tried. It just, when you're an exclusive on the Xbox, you're limited to the audience of the Xbox. It's a shallower pool to begin with.
Or people that buy games on the Windows 10 store. Don't forget that.
Oh, I'd like to see the numbers of how many there actually are.
All 300 of them.
But the thing is, the Xbox didn't build its brand on those kinds of games. But
they should have given it a bigger push.
And the game would have been more well received.
Yeah.
Had it been multi-plat. You put that on a Nintendo system, yeah.
Well,
that's an even shallower pool, but the fans of those types of games would be...
They're already on there,
yeah.
Well, what's nice, though, they're still committed to it, because they just released a definitive edition of the game for 4K HDR, which is really cool. And there was a free update for people that already bought the game, rather than making people pay for it again. So little things like that, I think, are a good vote of confidence that they see that there's still a need there, an interest there. So that was encouraging. Heck, I would have been. I know this is cliche, but I would have been alright if they came up with a separate multiplayer game, like as an add-on to play with friends, even if it's just exploring, doing co-op shit. I don't know, even a boss rush would have been cool. Um, just because I liked that style of gameplay so much, and exploring that world. You know, I think what a lot of people got turned off by is just how empty it felt. You know, but that's how Metroid is. You know, the Metroid, you have that looming sense of solitude. Like, fuck. All these creatures and not a single person to talk to, you know?
Yeah, it's got that the aliens vibe.
Yeah, exactly. It's a very lonely experience. I mean, hell, it's more lonely than even the typical Resident Evil game these days. At least Resident Evil, you still have some interaction with people here and there.
I think that kind of pegs that sentiment of the loneliness and emptiness that's in Metroid just pegged why I didn't like Axiom Verge. It didn't have that.
That's a good point. And I still have to play Axiom Verge a lot more. But I did like the way they did that game.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's Metroid. It's a well done game. I would suggest anyone who's a fan of the Metroid franchise or Metroidvania games in general to pick it up.
And that soundtrack is killer.
Oh, yeah. That game did almost everything right. It just missed for me.
It's a shame, too, because that's like one of our modern... I would say it's a modern classic. I think that's a game we'll look back to, 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now and be like, that was an awesome game. Whereas a lot of the stuff coming out now, be good for the moment, but you'll forget about it down the road.
Yeah, there's less instant classics. There's less games you look at and be like, this is going to age well.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's how it goes with all entertainment, though. We'll look at movies.
Yeah, we had this conversation, too. Like now,
everyone loved Deadpool, but watching Deadpool 6 months, after it came out, it's like, oh, yeah, this didn't age well already.
That's true. Kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I'm getting a Destiny 2 itch. I'm gonna try to play one Crucible match before I hit the hay.
Yeah. Go do that.
So let's wrap up here before we head off on another tangent. He also made me slightly sad. Cause I'm like, yeah, everything is kind of full of suck. We're not just being salty about it. It's just the way things are.
The world we live in now.
Yeah.
Accept it and take solace in the fact that they can't take away the things you already have for now.
Throwaway experiences. Whoa, deja vu.
Seems to be a recurring theme.
Yeah, you said that same exact phrase, and I said throwaway experiences last time when we talked.
Yeah.
Let's just be the title of the episode. This is a throwaway experience.
So you've probably heard us say all these things before. Again. This time in HD.
Oh, yeah.
HD remastered versions of all the conversations we've had before.
That could be a thing. Re-releasing old episodes with new effects. Laugh track and all. Oh, God. So, Beer, when you're not podcasting with me, where can people find you?
I'm on Twitter for the most part. At Beard and Hat. Anything else that comes across, you'll know because it'll be there first. So.
You also hang out on our Discord server. geekyouts.net/Discord. I think we should, start spamming ourselves on, call-in/text line, which is 646-801-2149. Again, 646-801-2149. I'm gonna start sending text messages to it and pretend I'm other people, like everyone else does on the internet radio. Like,
just start sending text messages. Start sending text messages out from that number, so that people have to respond.
Oh my god, like kind of like pranking people from that line. Like, who this? Maybe we can read on the air. Oh, that'd be great. That'd be a good bit.
Not even pranking. Just asking, just random questions, just shot out into the ether, and if anyone answers,
yeah. But people, like, a lot of people, be like, who's this?
Like, don't mind me. Answer the question.
Who I am doesn't matter. Just answer the question. What do I win? Nothing.
Look, I have an 82-cent gift card to Jimmy John's. I'll send your way.
Oh yeah, I like Jimmy John's. You have a Jimmy John's by you?
I don't think so. That's just the first restaurant that popped into my head.
Wow, that's pretty random, dude.
Yeah.
Jimmy John's out of all the places. Jimmy John's is great.
I could have gone with Five Guys. I could have gone with anything, but Jimmy John's. I'm sticking with it.
That's pretty fucking random. And now I'm craving Jimmy John's. They make some good sandwiches, man. Now I wonder, how would they stack up against Firehouse Subs? Have you had Firehouse?
Only one way to find out. No, I don't have either of those around here. I have a place called Nardelli's.
Oh, I've heard of Nardelli's, yeah.
Which is the best sandwiches ever.
You have to send me a scan of the menu and maybe some pictures when you order from there. We'll compare our food pics.
Oh yeah, next time I go, I'll just toss them in Discord and you can cry about sandwiches.
We have a lot of good sandwich joints by here. That's the one thing we have a lot of. So, anywho, I'm Yogizilla. You can find me on Twitter at Yogizilla and Xbox Live. I've been getting on daily again. And if you're listening live, you can join me there soon, in a little while after I have my cancer stick. And yeah, contact us, mail at geekyanswers.net. Text us or leave us a voicemail, 646-801-2149. And find us on Facebook. Just look up Geeky Antics. Find all our groups and our official page and all that good shit. And that's all I got. See you next week for episode 200. If you can't make it live, please call in, post on Facebook, send a smoke signal, something. Let us know what you'd like us to talk about. Send us some love. Tell us what we're doing good or bad. There's something. Send us a
tweet at us.
Or tweet at us, yeah. Or send us pictures of your favorite big-haired girls from the 80s. I don't know.
Pictures of sandwiches. Pictures of sandwiches.
That'd be the two campaigns: pictures of sandwiches and pictures of big-haired women.
And if it's not Kelly Kapowski, you're always wrong.
I don't know, because Kelly Bundy from Married with Children was pretty hot with her big hair. But does that count? Because that's like late 80s, early 90s. I think I let it slide. But yeah, Kelly Kapowski, definitely up there. God tier, for sure. And with that, we'll see you next week, folks. Next, folks, yeah, that's it. Beautiful. Bye, everybody.
We'll go with that. Bye.